Hey everyone, ASMR Gav here, and today we are finally doing the 1000 subscriber Q&A, and I already recorded a good chunk of this, but it turns out that my mic was weird and it decided to go to my laptop microphone, which did not sound great at all. So, yeah, I'm gonna be answering the questions here, and hopefully there's not too much background noise. I just moved into college, so things might be busy, and I might be going to a more bi-weekly upload schedule, but still I'll be working whenever possible to make more videos and whatnot in between school and work and whatnot. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to say again, thank you all so much for 1000 subscribers. This means a ton to me. And yeah, let's get started. Cutie Honey asks the first few questions, and the first one is, how did I get started with ASMR? And that is a good question, because I guess I should start with how I discovered it, and it was that I watched this one Let's Player playing through Half-Life one day, and I just found his voice really relaxing, and I did not know what ASMR was at the time. But it got to the point where I got like some big brain idea in my head to pretty much listen to his videos as I went to sleep. It wasn't intentionally ASMR, his voice was just really, really relaxing. And then one day in the comment section, someone brought up how they also found it really relaxing, and then someone replied to that comment, oh, if you like that, you should check out this ASMR thing, and check out this channel in particular. And then it led me to my first ever intentional ASMR channel, which is the French Whisperer. And I remember specifically, I think at the time, I think he uploaded a historical video on Las Vegas, and yeah, ever since then it took off. And then my first ASMR video that I made was a while later, like a good while later, and I think that was the Napstablook one, and it ended up, at least by my standards, it ended up blowing up beyond what I expected. I just made it for fun and like for some voice acting practice, and then all of a sudden there was a bunch of people fucking watched it. And yeah, I think it was partially because Undertale was a huge thing at the time and I was a big fan of it, so I decided to do that. And then yeah. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much how I got started with ASMR. From then on, I just kept going with it, and here we are. Question 2. What type of equipment, programs, and websites do you use, and what's your dream equipment setup for the future? I just use my laptop to pretty much store and edit all the audio files and whatnot. And I use Photoshop for making thumbnails, and I use Premiere Pro for the actual video and audio editing. My microphone is a blue snowball, and it works pretty good. There might be a little bit of static, but I get rid of the background static noises in Premiere Pro by using the denoise effect. And that is a godsend because it makes me sound so much more professional than my setup really is. My dream setup for the future, I guess I'm fine with Premiere Pro. And I think if I had to change anything about the setup, I would like some real noise-proof walls, maybe like a decent, or like a better microphone, maybe even like one with 3D audio capability, because any 3D audio I do now is going to have to be completely manual. It will have to be edited by hand in Premiere Pro, but with a 3D microphone I can just go from side to side, and yeah, it's pretty easy doing it like that. And they're also really high quality, so I wouldn't have to get rid of the static myself. So yeah, that'd be that would be my dream setup. It makes things so much easier on me, editing wise. And question 3, what is your inspiration for making videos and stories and etc.? It comes from a lot of the media I consume. I'm a huge fan of like fantasy in general, so I like to pull a lot of fantasy aspects. Like, this is about to sound like the nerdiest shit you've ever heard, but I like World of Warcraft, so and I like how they interpret their fantasy setting with a lot of like unique elements blending in with like the steampunk and your typical fantasy stuff, and a lot of like almost Lovecraftian stuff as well, just all blended into one big single world. I think it's really cool. And also as well, just like you might have noticed, if you know the show, or I guess the podcast, while watching my video where Holos describes himself getting stuck in a cave system, you might be able to tell that it was heavily based off of how the Magnus Archives podcast is structured, and it's a really good podcast. It is returning next week, and it's on its 5th season right now, and it is the final season, but I recommend catching up if you can. They're really short episodes, like 20 to 30 minutes each, sometimes even shorter, and it's a fictional story revolving around a institution in I think London, where these people pretty much record and archive these paranormal events, and they store them, but over time it goes from like a monster of the week sort of or like more like horror story of the week sort of situation to slowly integrating a lot of these same horrific incidents into an overarching plot. And season 5 so far is really good, and it's also just really unique, and it deserves all the praise it can get. And yeah, that was inspiration for that. And just in general, like, just like the Dragon Prince really inspire me, fantasy wise, Warcraft I said, and as well as just like a lot of the games I play and whatnot. It's just everything I enjoy, I try to draw inspiration from to improve and expand how I write and what I write. And yeah, are there any other plans for future content? Any collaborations you want to do? For future content, I of course have Starline planned. There's only like 2 or 3 episodes left before, no, like 2 or 3 episodes left, period. One of those will be the finale, but it might be a while since college is super busy and those are very heavily scripted and edited videos, but I'll probably see if I can get them out as soon as possible. As for future content, I'm thinking more like improv role plays, especially since they're really easy to edit, and you know, I get to just play a character for a bit and have fun with that, like the punk elf or the the himbo teacher. Those were both a lot of fun. I'm also thinking maybe game stuff, like for example, just like ASMR while I'm playing a game or anything like that. And yeah, like I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys and whatnot, and if I like recorded that and then, you know, whispered while I play, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't have any plans for collaborations at the moment, though I'm like always open to providing my voice to like other channels and projects, stuff like that. I was just really busy as of recently, so I kind of got hold up on that, but I'll have to see. Like, I've only ever done a few projects in the past. One of them was like for a YouTube channel that isn't really active anymore, but that was a lot of fun. And another one was for Black Cat Audio. It was their circus thing a while ago. That was really cool and freaky. I really liked it, but yeah. I don't have plans for it, but if people have ideas and I happen to have more time, yeah, I'll definitely see about it. And then the final question from Cutie Honey in this, I guess, list of questions is what is my favorite video game this year? There are a few good ones. Doom Eternal was great, and Fall Guys was also great. And I don't know, maybe this is controversial because I know a lot of people didn't like it, and I could write an entire essay just about this game. But Last of Us Part 2, I came around to really enjoying it. Like, I don't want to go into it in here because that is like an entire video essay worth of just analysis and just how I ended up really enjoying it. But yeah, I guess like out of all the ones I've played, like which includes like Animal Crossing, Doom Eternal, Fall Guys, just a good chunk of this year's games, The Last of Us Part 2 has probably stuck with me more than any of them in my head. So yeah, that might be my current, though we have a lot coming in the future. Like Cyberpunk has a lot of potential to be good. There's actually a lot of games got delayed this year because of COVID, so who knows, maybe Cyberpunk is like the last bastion to like beat that away. But yeah, Fall Guys and The Last of Us, they're both pretty up there. Both of them have been sticking with me, but for different reasons. Fall Guys has been tormenting me with looking cute and fun and then pulling me back in with that, but then I'm tortured trying to get first place. But yeah, if time and money were no issue, what would your dream creative project be? I think my dream creative project, I would love to do voice acting on a professional level. In fact, I've been kind of trying recently with like freelance work, but there's a lot of stiff competition, and I don't think I've pulled through there yet. But yeah, I'm still like trying to get through there. I do have like a huge, almost, I guess, story that I want to tell through a visual medium. And I think it would be best suited for animation, but like for now I'm like thinking, what if it was a webcomic and I had time to do that? But that would also realistically cost money. But in a situation where it wouldn't cost money, I definitely get a animated series version of that story. It's a very big story, but I don't know, it's one that I'm very passionate about writing, and I've been going at it for years now. I think it is about over half a decade old at this point, and I've been building on it ever since. And yeah, it's definitely one of my big passion projects to bring to life one day. Any ASM artists and artists that inspire you, who are your favorite? I think there are a good few ASM artists I still watch that are just really inspiring to the style that I have today. Alternate Aurora, she makes really good content, and a lot of like scary horror stuff too, as well as just like pure role-playing stuff, and she just makes really good content. Young Prince ASMR as well. Is it Young Prince still? I could be mistaken entirely. I'll have to double check, but yeah. He also makes really good content, and he just blew up over the time that he was doing ASMR. And yeah, it's Young Prince. Okay, yeah, I was right. yeah, he makes really good stuff. I'd go check him out. And trying to think of who else, because I know there's more. Black Cat Audio is also really good. God, there's so many. I'm subscribed to a lot of them too. GB ASMR is one of like the bigger ones that I look up to. There's a lot, and those are just the ones that come off the top of my head. I might be missing some. There's AS Matt R, that's also really good. Yeah, shoot. Also, is it Dark and Twisted ASMR? He also makes really funny role plays that are just really fun. But yeah, those are the ones that come off the top of my head. I could be missing more. Yeah. If you could choose the type of genre to live in, what would it be? Sci-fi, fantasy, etc. Sci-fi would probably be up there. Though there's also, I guess, sci-fi if I just had to say one single genre, but like if I could pick and choose within that genre, like the type of subgenre, I would say a more Warcraft style fantasy, because that blends a lot of sci-fi elements and Lovecraftian elements all into one world. And yeah, so I think a more Warcraft style fantasy, because like it has like the typical like cool elf designs and different races, and with like their own backstories and whatnot, blended along with like the ability to travel to different planets and meet alien races, and just a lot of like visually cool elements. By the way, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot to answer that question. So this question was also from Cutie Honey, and scrolling up, they also asked what my favorite game of all time was. Undertale. That I meant to answer that, but I completely forgot because I got caught up with all the games that came out this year. But Undertale, probably my favorite game of all time. But yeah, type of genre to live in, what would it? Yeah, so I guess a Warcraft style fantasy would be probably my my go-to. But otherwise, if I just had to choose one and stick with it, based off like the typical representations of that genre, it would be sci-fi. Favorite music? Favorite music would probably be, I can listen to literally anything, and if it just suits my tastes, I can enjoy, whether that be country, rap, pop, whatever. I can really get into it. But my favorite band as of right now, and has been my favorite for a few years now, is probably Twerp, or TWRP, Tupperware Remix Party. They make such fun music. It's just hard not to just, groove with it. So yeah, I'd check them out, and they're releasing a new album very soon in September, so it's a perfect time to get into them as any. Yeah. So yeah, definitely Twerp. And favorite show or movie? Shoot, I think I'll have to go off of what I'm watching right now, which is The Dragon Prince. The entire series just got like confirmed to be picked up by Netflix. Like, originally they made the first 3 seasons and they were so good, but then after COVID hit and the 4th season was rumored to come out this year but never did, it was like kind of up in the air whether or not the series would actually continue. And Netflix, with their tendency to just cancel things people like and want to continue, but they confirmed that Netflix has picked up the entire series, and not just the first 3 seasons, but season 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is what they had planned for writing and whatnot, as well as making like different books and games for the series as well. So that's super exciting. And so yeah, Dragon Prince is probably my favorite show right now. Favorite movie? Probably Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, I had such a fun time watching that. But there were also a few ones that stick out in my mind, like The Shining was really good for totally different reasons, because I love movies like Spider-Man where I can just sit down and have a hilarious, good, uplifting time, but I also like movies like The Shining where I can just basically play detective with the movie over multiple viewings to figure out what these different things mean, and so many hidden meanings behind some things that were just like in the background or whatnot, and that were clearly placed there intentionally and have some meaning but aren't just exposed, and it makes it such an effective horror movie that sticks in my mind. Tofu asks, favorite superhero from Marvel and DC respectively. I think my favorite from Marvel is probably Spider-Man. Because like of the idea of like anyone could be that hero. He just happens to be the one that got bit, and anyone brave enough could ideally just become Spider-Man. And that's like such an uplifting message to put through a superhero that's typically like, look at this cool character we made and look at these cool things they're doing, but instead Spider-Man is a little bit like that, but like it's less show-offy and more about just good people rising to do just what's right, and that it could be anyone. It could be some random guy you walk across the street from. It could be you specifically. If you really wanted it to be, you can be the change, and I think that's just such a good message through a superhero, as well as Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and both just being very great and fleshed out characters in many of their portrayals. From DC, I think Superman's a good one. Just because like Superman in general has been really misrepresented by the DC live action movies, but like if you've read the comics, Superman is just such a lighthearted and hopeful person, and man, the movies do not do that justice. They portray him as like a dark and edgy and like god instead of just a really nice guy. That's what he's like meant to be, and he stands up for like injustice both on like an intergalactic level as well as just like small town stuff. He's the guy that would both like help fight off an evil alien empire invading Earth, as well as just the guy who would fly down to your neighborhood and say hello to all the kids and stuff. Like, that's the good Superman. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I just love out of it. So yeah, Spider-Man and Superman are both really up there. Copy, hopefully I pronounced it right. Also, that profile picture is killing me. Do you like cats? Yes, very. They're very cute. And then Tofu, right after that, asks, do you have any pets? Not personally. I'm in college right now and I'm on my own, but my parents have 2 dogs that are back home kind of waiting for me, I guess. So yeah. Just I don't have them with me, but I guess, yeah, I have 2 that I love very much that are back home, and I can't wait to see them again. Existential. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be pronounced existential or if it is just existential, but what's your favorite character that you've played in a D&D tabletop game, and why? And I think my favorite would be my character Harf in a Call of Cthulhu campaign that I'm in right now, and that's because usually whenever I play Harf in a role-playing setting, like I do RP in World of Warcraft, usually he has a very set story on what has happened to him, but in here he has so much more, I guess, room to breathe since he's just in a human world now instead of being an elf. He's just a private investigator that's really down on his luck. He lives in a pretty shitty apartment, not getting paid a whole ton, but now he's like wrapped up in this whole, saving his and like a few other people's lives business. So yeah, Harf, and as well as that, his backstory is really different from how I usually portray it, and in this world he was investigating a case where a child was in a bad home, and he grew attached to this kid over the course of the investigation, which took a few years before he found enough incriminating evidence to say, okay, they're done, they're going to jail. And he grew so close to this kid that he was just so upset at the entire ordeal that when he found out everything they exactly did, he decided to pull some strings and take matters into his own hands. And so what he did was, he pretty much, before they were shipped off to go to like a state jail or whatever, he greased up a few hands. He brought both those parents out in the middle of nowhere, and then he tortured them both to death as like an act of revenge. And while they did some terrible things, absolutely, and he's not like, it's not portrayed as like, oh, he's just as bad as they are. No, it's like, it's not that they didn't deserve what happened to him, especially after what they did to their own kid, one that he now sees himself as the father of, but it's just that he feels like he shouldn't have done it regardless, just because it felt really self-serving for his own revenge instead of justice for this kid, and he hasn't even told the kid what he did to his parents. And so he's like living with that guilt now, and I think it's really intricate and fun to play with in like a role-playing setting where he's just kind of suppressed this thing that he's done for so long. And I'm pretty sure nobody but the DM is watching this, so I'm pretty sure I can say that out loud. But yeah, he's really conflicted inside, and he did this. He's just so complex to play, and I think that really makes for a lot of interesting scenarios, especially since he's one of the more serious people within the group. So yeah, Harf is definitely my favorite. If you were a villager in Animal Crossing, what animal and what personality type would you be? Now, I don't know a ton about Animal Crossing. I've played New Horizons back when that came out for like a good few weeks. I still need to get back into it, but yeah, I don't know exactly all the animals and all like the personality types, but if I had to guess, I would say a wolf and a more, I guess, like somewhere in between jock nerd. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it, the best I can give for that answer. And of all the books, shows, movies, games, etc. you've consumed, what do you think has had the biggest impact on your interests and on your content? And I think that is Undertale. That's my favorite game, as I said earlier, but like how it impacted my content was just huge. Like, it really changed how I view characters and how I write them, and yeah, like how I put them all into different scenarios and how I figure out how exactly they'll react, and both how they react to a viewer and an something in my neck, and an audience, and how you can have both humorous moments with them and also just emotional moments without one derailing the other, and maybe even intertwining them somehow. Yeah, it really impacted how I write stuff. So yeah, Undertale. Favorite meme? That's hard. So, actually, no, I do know one. So, if you look at the bottom left of the screen right now, you'll be able to see something. Oh wait, no. It's moved up to the center of the screen. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Yeah. I guess it goes. It changes, but yeah. That's any variation on that, including like ones that turn out to not be the stick bug, especially. Those are really funny to me. I don't know why. My sense of humor is just fucking cursed. Jazz Daimia? Hopefully I said that right. But Jazz asks, how are you? Have you been doing well? Have you hydrated? And have you slept well? I've been doing okay. I've been getting back into the swing of school and looking for a job. I've been... I haven't really eaten breakfast, so I haven't hydrated yet this morning, but I swear I'll get to it. Don't shoot me with the Nerf Super Soaker to hydrate me, please. And have I slept well? Yeah, I slept alright. I kind of started going back to sleep earlier lately. Like, over summer break I've been going to sleep at like 2 o'clock, and then I'd wake up at like 10. Not even get out of bed till like 12, but recently I've been going to bed at like 11 or 12 and getting up at 7. And, yeah. So I guess, is that a better sleep schedule? I don't know, gets me up early enough for class, so as long as it works. Tofu asks, do you have a solid plan as to how you want to go forth with the Starline series, or are you making it up as you go along? And my answer to that is a little bit of both. There's a very clear plot I want to execute that we're getting towards the end of, where I know, like, the big stuff, where, like, I want this to happen here. Like, for example, when I started, I wanted the spaceship to crash into the human, and then they brought the human on board, and then episode 2 was where they really got to know each other and talk and relate to one another, and then a few episodes later, Beckett got injured, and then you had to take care of him in the med bay, and then they finally, you know, had a family-friendly time alone in a bedroom together, and then this is the part where Beckett confesses, and, you know, I know all of that going in, how that's going to play out, but it's the stuff in between that I improvise, like, where it takes place. For example, it being in a jungle where Beckett got injured, that was improv. Like, that was thought of almost on the spot, where I was like, I think this would be a cool alien setting for a brief moment. Or going to a bar to get wasted, specifically to lead to like a really intimate moment in the most recent episode. That was improv. In fact, I think episode 2 was meant to be a Snow Planet episode, but I think at the time I was like, that might be moving things a bit too fast. So, I slowed it down a little bit, kept it in the spaceship, and then, yeah. So, yeah, just a mix of both, knowing what's gonna happen, and then, improv. Though these next few episodes, 2 to 3, up to the finale, they're probably gonna be a lot more planned, since this is gonna be a more heavy, I guess, story-wise, and, it might not be a while till the next episode comes out, so brace for that, but it's gonna require a lot of editing, especially since, like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's gonna be, like, 3 or 4 characters talking, and they're all gonna be voiced by me, and they all need to sound different, they need to be edited differently, they all need to be convincing, and there's going to be a ton of sound effects to go with it, and yeah, it's going to take a while, but it'll definitely be worth it leading up to the finale. So yeah, coming soon, I swear. Maybe a month or 2 from now, but just know that it's being worked on, and yeah. And Get Named asks, what game do you like? I'm going to assume I can talk about multiple games, and if not, feel free to come over to my house and, I don't know, try to choke me with a gummy worm or something. But, anyways, games I like. I've been playing a lot of Fall Guys recently, which is so much fun. It's just fun, like, even if you're losing first round, you're always having just a wonderful time getting your butt kicked by these just cute little jelly beans dragging you all around. And yeah, it's such a great time. And as well as that, The Last of Us Part 2 I played through recently. I'm probably gonna do a Last of Us Part 2 grounded permadeath playthrough, where, yeah, as it sounds, I play through the game on permadeath mode on the hardest difficulty and pray to God. Also, along those lines, Among Us. That might be... I've been teasing the idea of playing a game with the Discord group, and if it's any game, it has to be Among Us. I'd recommend the PC version just because it's only $5 on Steam and it supports the developers directly, but there's also a free mobile version if you can't afford that also can cross-play with PC. And basically the premise is that there are up to 10 players in one lobby, and they all have to work on little tasks and whatnot, but the twist is that 2 players are imposters. And as everyone needs to work together and do all this stuff, the imposters have to secretly kill off every single crewmate until they win, and the crewmates need to figure out who the imposters are and vote them out and kill them that way. And it's so much fun, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to play with the Discord group. So yeah, if you guys are down for that, let me know. Again, it's $5 on Steam, and it's 100% free on, I think it's iPhone and Google Play. I could be mistaken, it could be iPhone exclusive or whatever, but yeah. So yeah, Among Us, as well as, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here. I've also been wanting to get back into Bloodborne. The Soulsborne games I've completed were Dark Souls 1 and 3, and I really enjoyed those. And I think Bloodborne I also really enjoyed. I just got stuck. Like, I didn't know where to go after defeating like 2 or 3 bosses. But I just probably need to replay it and then keep a walkthrough open if I really need it. And yeah. Pretty much just, yeah. Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn I've also been meaning to complete. I'm a good distance in that game, and it's a lot of fun so far. But yeah. So yeah, those are games that are on my mind. Yakuza 0 also, a game so funny and so fun. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of games, as you can tell. Yeah. Also World of Warcraft. I'm so excited for Shadowlands finally coming out October, and so excited for pre-patch to drop. If you don't know if World of Warcraft is your thing, I would get into it in about a month from now, because it's going to be so much more beginner friendly when that hits. And yeah. So that is all for the Q&A. That ended up being a lot longer than I thought, but yeah, holy crap. Again, just thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers, and thank you all for just continuing to watch and support me. Times are tough right now. I'm in college. I'm looking for any way I can make money. And in the meantime, also trying to keep this up, and then also trying to balance out a social life and building up a portfolio for work and doing classes and whatnot. But yeah, this is such a good place to be in, mixed up with all that mess. And yeah, thank you guys so much for continuing to support me. It means a lot, and I appreciate it out of each and every one of you. And man, I don't even know what to say. I'm just really grateful for everything that I have right now, and it means a ton. So, yeah, love you all, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys as soon as possible. Keep on the lookout for any new videos. I'm thinking of making, I guess, gaming videos where I just play a game, softly speak, relax, and just wind back with probably my favorite hobby. And as well as more role-playing videos coming out in the future. I'm thinking of doing a Last of Us Part 2 themed one. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, and stay happy. I know things are tough these days, but just keep doing your best. You got this. Peace.